Hello, friends. As I promised you, something different this week. Something weird. Something that I was a little bit nervous about doing as a video series, actually, but I've decided that it gives me an opportunity to talk about a lot of things that might be useful to somebody, and also it gives you kind of a little more insight into me making things at the last minute for events. So I have a comic book shop appearance coming up in Deep River, Connecticut. Comics and Coffee, June 8th. Come see me. But one of the things that particular event is, it's a mini-con at this place called Comics and Coffee in Deep River, Connecticut. And one of the, it's going to be kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be a big deal there because they have a special guest who is also known as Sonic's dad, apparently. So that is something that I figure is going to be good to have, something Sonic the Hedgehog-y, which is not something I currently have in my portfolio. So I want to make something that I can get printed and potentially either have as a free giveaway or as a low-cost sale item, just because I know there's going to be a lot of Sonic fans there, and I want to see if I can take advantage of that and give them something that they're going to want to see, and maybe give them something to talk about with me. So that's kind of my theory going into this. I've got to go fast, because the event is coming up very quickly, and hopefully I will be able to get it done in time. But what that means for this particular series is that if worse comes to worse and I'm talking too much and not drawing fast enough, I might have to stop recording and actually finish the piece off camera. So hopefully that's not going to happen. Hopefully I'll be able to get it all caught on camera for you, but I am under the gun here, so I need to make sure that I get it done. That's kind of the most important thing here. And now, again, I've told you something very, very plain spoken, very high focused on my priorities and what I need to get done. And when I need to get done, I'm immediately going to walk back on that and tell you that I've already actually done a sketch for this that I've decided wasn't me enough. So I'm starting a new one. But if worse comes to worse, I will go back to that other sketch that I did. So here, I'll show it to you. This is just a quick sketch that I did of Sonic the Hedgehog, and by quick, I mean it took a long time for me to figure out how to draw Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog has actually got a lot of weird stuff going on. I think he's one of the most iconic mascot characters that's ever been created, but he's just got so much weird stuff about him. And just to kind of run down the list really quickly of just stuff that is bizarre about Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog has 5 fingers on each hand, which, everybody's got 5 fingers on each hand. But in terms of the realm of cartoon characters, I always just kind of assumed that he had 4. He seems like the kind of character who would have 4. He's a white glove cartoon character. That typically means that they would have 4 fingers. Sonic's got 5. Okay, we can deal with that. Sonic the Hedgehog does not have knees. Just doesn't have knees. His legs bend like bendy straws when they need to in whatever particular direction, but when he's standing upright, no knees, no joints. He's practically a rubber tube cartoon. Really weird. Sonic the Hedgehog has no neck. Not entirely uncommon. None of the Scooby-Doo characters have necks. Did you know that? Shaggy has a neck. I think he's the only one. But all the others, Fred and Velma and Daphne, don't have necks, or they have scarves that cover their necks because it was much easier to animate the heads turning without having to draw a neck in any given kind of perspective. So none of those characters have necks. Similar kind of thing you see with a lot of cartoon characters, but it is just a little bit odd because the first time I tried to do this, I tried to do Sonic from a low angle looking down, and I was trying to do this neck on him, and I realized I could never get it to look right. And I'm trying to figure out why, and it's because he doesn't have a neck. What else is weird about Sonic? The number of quills on his head. A lot of times it looks like he's got 3. He's really got more than that if you try to do him in 3D space. I think he's got 5 on the head and then 3 down the back, depending on how accurate you want to be. Sonic the Hedgehog, the pupils of his eyes have no relation to the corner of his mouth. Typically speaking, kind of like an easy shortcut when you're trying to figure out the proportions of a face is that the corner of your mouth and the pupil of your eye line up, right? Not on Sonic. Sonic, his corners of his mouth are always shooting past where his pupils are, because he's got his weird mono eyeball, which I'm not even going to put on the list because everybody knows about that already. But it just makes it really strange. And there was a challenge going around recently, which was draw Sonic and hang on a second, I'll show you the one that I tried to do. So the challenge was draw Sonic the Hedgehog from memory with no reference whatsoever, and this was my attempt at doing it. And it was harder than I thought it was going to be, and I forgot to give him ears. I forgot that he had ears. He's just an oddball, and then he's a really iconic character. But he's just got so many weird quirks of design that have just endured for so long. And of course, every other character in the Sonic mythos kind of looks more or less like Sonic with some changes. But working on this, I picked up a heck of a lot of respect for people who draw Sonic fan art and people who draw Sonic on a regular basis, because it's like, wow, you've actually got your own weird set of rules that you have to learn if you want to draw these characters. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up what I learned drawing that sketch and make my kind of more cool, dynamic, Brendan-ish sketch for my finished product that I want to do here. So, when we get into the color stage, we're talking about like strong primary colors. When we're getting in this, kind of early sketch stage, I'm gonna start by trying to I'm gonna try something a little bit different this time, which is I'm gonna start by doing like block shapes. So what I would love to do is something where, so this would be head, body, and I want to try to get almost like a parkour-ish pose. So I've never done anything quite in this style before. I've seen this recommended as like a faster way to block out your figure. And we'll see how well that does today. Whenever I'm under a time constraint, I tend to find that I rush things. So we want to avoid that today, if at all possible. And when I say I rush things, I don't mean I do them faster. I mean I rush through the steps and do them sloppier. And what that results in is I'll look at the sketch and I'll go, I don't like that, and I'll throw it out. And I will waste a lot of time that if I had just slowed down and tried to do it, properly from the start, I would have saved. So we're going to try to avoid some of those pitfalls today while still trying to pick up some things that can make a high quality drawing quickly. It can be tough. Here's the problem already. It's like I need the hands to be doing something. And I was thinking this is Spider-Man, right? I was thinking he should be doing, but Sonic doesn't really throw up the horns, does he? It'd be kind of cool if he did, but he doesn't. He's more like, he does that. He'll give you the peace sign sometimes. He'll give you the thumbs up. I like the thumbs up. Maybe I can do something with the thumbs up. Or fists. I do have references up on my other screen. A lot of this early stage stuff is me just figuring out what the heck do I want to do. Because when I just tried to draw the character straight, and this is what I ended up with, right? Which is fine. It looks like Sonic. We can tell who that is, but the pose is a little bit flat for what I wanted. I was, I came up on Sonic Adventure 2. I was the perfect age when that game came out, and that was a frequent rental from the Blockbuster Video. I'm old. I'm so old. It's okay. But I loved SA2. A game that I tried to revisit as an adult, and I did not like it as much. And I was very sad. Sonic the Hedgehog has gone through been put through the ringer of public opinion a lot. I still like him. This style is not working for me. Let's try something else. First of all, let's give him a nice big smile. I'm starting from a weird place here. I want him to show some teeth. Not like weird human teeth. He's got kind of a snout, but it's a little bit... I really don't draw a whole lot of animal characters, so it's something that I'd like to get better at. Because I have kind of an idea for a story that would feature animal characters, but I'd like to get more comfortable drawing them before I was try to launch a story of any kind. My great fear is that some of this stuff is going to look real kludgy. Like, even this is starting to look like ugly Sonic. Just straight out of the gate. Very tempting to just grab this. I did a couple different versions. Actually, this was going somewhere. That's not bad. It's figuring out how to incorporate all the spines. It kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm going to steal this from myself. That's from something else. Guess I was working on a much bigger canvas over there. You know me, I like to fill space, right? I like to bump up against the edges. So you got that... Figuring out the ears first is kind of critical. So here's his face. He's looking like... Do we want him like that? Do we want him looking down? I like him kind of when he's, let's run that. Of course, he's got like a snarky little smile. We're not going to do teeth because we already saw how that went. Ears. What I now must consider to be the most important feature. Because my Sonic didn't have one when I tried to do it from memory. It's interesting to try to do things from memory. I'm looking at my references, alright? These ears are not going to work. These ears are not going to work. The ears are each perched over one of his eyes, so the eye... Sonic has eyes instead of eye. He's just such a... It's a character that just feels like he should be really easy to draw. That's the deceptive part about a lot of cartoon-y characters, and something that I wanted to talk about as we're doing this series. A lot of people think that like, oh, I don't need to know anatomy drawing because I just want to draw cartoon characters. By which I mean very cartoonish characters. Your Sonics, your Marios. Those are video game examples. I feel like more animation-y examples might be characters from Adventure Time. Are very cartoony. Your Steven Universe, that kind of thing. It's actually a great challenge to do characters in cartoon style if you don't have an ultra good understanding of anatomy, because you need to be able to simplify bodies in such a way that makes them very simple to draw, but also still reads correctly, as a body that functions. So that's part of the challenge. So yeah, you've already seen, like today I did some stuff ahead of time that I said I wasn't going to use, and I've already decided that it's to start something from scratch would be silly. I'm under the gun here. I need to develop from what I've been working on. So we're all learning lessons as we do this stuff, and one of the lessons that I have learned is like, you got to stop telling yourself start from scratch. It's like, no, you've workshopped the ideas, you've got them figured out, and now put them to use. So we're going to try to put them to use as best we can. That's it for today's episode. Next time, we're just going to keep seeing how this crazy thing goes. We'll see you then.